Today is July 24th, 2025, and you're listening to Space News First Up.
Discover your next mission in the space industry with the Space News Job Exchange. Visit spacenews.com/jobs to find top aerospace roles and connect with leading employers. And for employers, use discount code JOBEX for 15% off your next purchase.
Here are today's top headlines in space. House appropriators want NASA to study alternatives for a new SLS upper stage. Startup Innovative Rocket Technologies, or iRocket, says it plans to go public through a SPAC merger. The Chinese government wants to improve quality control in commercial space businesses. And a Chinese startup Space Pioneer has completed a launch pad for its Tianlong 3 rocket.
First Up is produced by Space News, the industry standard for professional space journalism. Visit spacenews.com for breaking news, policy updates, and original analysis.
We begin today with news that the House appropriators want NASA to study alternatives for a new SLS upper stage. In a report accompanying the Commerce, Justice, and Science spending bill that funds NASA, the House Appropriations Committee directed NASA to evaluate alternatives for the exploration upper stage, which NASA is developing for the Block 1B version of SLS that will first launch on the Artemis 4 mission. Appropriators said they are interested in options that reduce cost and schedule while maintaining performance. Other provisions in the report include $300 million for Mars sample return, a mission that the administration sought to cancel, and increased funding for development of commercial space stations. Startup Innovative Rocket Technologies, or iRocket, says it plans to go public through a SPAC merger. The company said Wednesday it agreed to merge with BPGC Acquisition Corp., a special-purpose acquisition company backed by Wilbur Ross, the former Secretary of Commerce. The company said the deal would value iRocket at $400 million, but did not disclose how much money iRocket would raise. BPGC Acquisition Corp. originally raised $345 million, but has given back most of that money through shareholder redemptions. The company, founded in 2018, says it plans to develop reusable launch vehicles, but has announced little progress beyond engine tests. The Chinese government wants to improve quality control in commercial space businesses. The China National Space Administration issued new rules this week with the aim of establishing a robust quality management and supervision framework for commercial space projects in China. The move will likely provide clarity in terms of regulatory frameworks and processes, such as pathways to launch site access and launch licenses, and lead to greater rigor at all stages of operations. However, it could also increase administrative burdens for commercial space companies and bring new barriers to entry to the commercial space sector. Chinese startup Space Pioneer has completed a launch pad for its Tianlong 3 rocket. The company said Wednesday that its launch pad for Tianlong 3 at the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center had recently passed final construction acceptance. That acceptance included tests using a full-scale mock-up of Tianlong 3, a two-stage medium-class rocket. The company has not provided a recent update on the schedule for the vehicle's first launch.
Share your company's news with the entire space industry through Stellar Dispatch, the press release service from Space News. Learn more and use discount code SD2106 for 15% off when you submit yours at spacenews.com/stellardispatch.
In other news, a Falcon 9 launched a NASA space science mission and several other smallsats Wednesday. The Falcon 9 lifted off from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California at 2:13 p.m. Eastern, placing several payloads into sun-synchronous orbits. The primary payload was NASA's Tandem Reconnection and Cusp Electrodynamics Reconnaissance Satellites, or TRACERS, mission, a pair of smallsats to study how the solar wind couples with the Earth's magnetic field. Several other smallsats on the launch included one to test a novel smallsat design and new Earth science sensor, as well as one that will test a terminal that can communicate with both NASA's TDRS and commercial communications satellites. The Yomiuri Shimbun reports that a new variant of Japan's H-3 rocket completed a static fire test Tuesday. In the test, the H-3 first stage fired its main engines for 25 seconds, with the Japanese space agency JAXA announcing the test went as planned. The test involved a Type 30 version of the H3 with 3 LE-9 engines in the first stage rather than 2, but with no solid rocket boosters. The Type 30 H3 will first fly later this year carrying test payloads. The San Antonio Express News reports that the Mexican government has criticized a SpaceX effort to salvage Starship rocket parts off the Gulf Coast. SpaceX chartered a vessel that operated off the Mexican coast recently, retrieving the aft section of a super heavy booster that landed in the water in November. That debris was returned to port in Brownsville, Texas, earlier this week. At a press conference Wednesday, Mexican officials said that while the ship had permission to operate in Mexican waters, the ship didn't meet unspecified international standards for that work. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has argued that Starship launches have damaged the environment in Mexico and has considered suing SpaceX. She said Wednesday the government was preparing a report on those environmental impacts. The New York Times reports that a new study has raised more doubts about a potential biosignature discovered in an exoplanet's atmosphere. Astronomers announced in April that they had detected in the atmosphere of the exoplanet K218b the gas dimethyl sulfide, which on Earth is only produced by life. Other researchers, though, raised doubts about the detection. The latest study, using additional data, failed to make a definitive detection of dimethyl sulfide. The research also found there are ways to produce the molecule without life, meaning that even if it is found in the planet's atmosphere, it may not be a reliable biosignature.